In today's topic, tackling senior driving issues, we're going to provide you some ideas about how to talk to your aging parents regarding their driving skills and some tips on what you can do if those skills start to degrade. Hi, and welcome to My Aging Parent by Seniority. My Aging Parent offers practical advice and sensible solutions for those tackling common aging-related issues. My name is Cindy Moore, and I will be your host for today's episode. There is probably nothing more isolating to a senior than when they reach that stage in life when they are no longer capable of driving. This is especially true in more rural locations that don't have access to public transportation. And as our parents get older, trips to the doctor and pharmacy can increase quite a bit. Because of this, it is important that an aging parent's driving skills are monitored regularly, practiced often, and improved when necessary. Having a conversation early on, before the threat of losing driving privileges happens, can not only keep your parent in the driving seat longer, it can also help you to prepare for what happens when the time comes to give up the car keys. There are 5 things that you can work on that will help you to deal with your aging parents' driving skills. Those 5 things are having a driving conversation, evaluating driving skills, improving driving skills, supplementing transportation, and getting the keys. In today's episode, I'm going to share some great resources to make this process an easier one for you. You'll find links to those resources that I mentioned in the description area below. So, number 1, have a driving conversation. If your parent is fortunate enough to be blessed with the gift of age, they will, at some point, most likely become too old to drive. In this case, the word old is not a measurement of years, rather a measurement of capabilities. As we age, those capabilities tend to decline. Some of the most common age-related conditions are responsible for the degradation of skills. Hearing loss, vision problems, slower response times, and a slowing of information processing are all conditions directly related to the aging adult. This is normal aging process, and it can cause some very unsafe driving conditions for both the person behind the wheel as well as for others that share the road. If you have a parent that is beginning to show any type of signs of decline, then it is important to begin a conversation with them as soon as possible. Now, it is possible that your parent may not want to have this conversation with you, so try to approach it lightly and with great respect. The goal of this conversation is ultimately to allow them to designate to you when they feel that driving would no longer be a good idea for them. This way, when the time comes to supplement or suspend driving, it is done because that is what the parent decided was best for them. That way, it won't come across as you are making them stop. I'm going to be honest here. Although this is a goal for some, this may simply not be achievable. I have a friend whose father told her that no one was ever going to take his keys and was not in the least bit open to discussion. For some of you, that may be what you have to do. But if you can, try to sit down with them and strike out a loose plan about what you are supposed to do when their driving skills decline. Make sure that you emphasize that you love them and care for them and are in no way trying to impede on their independence. And while they have a strong presence of mind, you'd like some instructions from them now as to what to look out for and how to approach them when the time does come. Which brings us to our next item. Evaluating driving skills. If you are living somewhere near your parent or visit them with frequency, there are some things that you can keep an eye out for to ensure that they aren't having any driving safety issues. When aging adults start to experience issues, they A, aren't always going to notice, and B, aren't always going to tell you. Keep an eye out for blemishes in the paint or dents on the car. Look around the wheels to see if they look like they scrape curbs as they go around them. Nicks and dents on the front of the car can indicate that they are losing a bit of spatial awareness and may be parking over the curb or nosing into cars they park in front of in a parking lot. The loss of a bumper or pinched quarter panel may be a sign that they are taking their corners too tight and clipping curbs or items that are on the side of the road. Dings at the end of the doors indicate that they are perhaps parking too closely to other vehicles and are dinging them with their door. If you notice one random dinger, then it alone is certainly not an indication that anything is wrong. But if you start to notice an accumulation, then it is time to take action. In addition to evaluating the car, try to evaluate the driver. Set a date with your parent and ask them to drive you. This will give you a chance to really see how well they are doing. Check to see that they can keep their speed up to a safe minimum, that they keep a safe distance between themselves and other vehicles, and check to make sure that they can maneuver well around corners. Ensure that they are fully engaged with their driving and that they keep their eyes on the road and are not reaching around the car or looking around and are not looking where they are going. But what if you do see issues? That would bring you to item number 3 on our list, improve driving skills. Let's say you do start to notice an accumulation of dings and dents, or when you rode as passenger, your parent wasn't quite up to snuff. At that point, it's time to see if there is anything that can be done to improve the senior's driving skills. Many insurance providers and local area agencies on aging will provide senior driving training for free. These training courses are meant to be refreshers for the senior to help them to brush up on those skills. It is a good idea to strongly recommend to your parent that they try to attend a senior driver safety course. These courses are designed for seniors and cover topics like safe speed, safe distance, and spatial awareness. They discuss things like proper seat height, pedal distance, and nowadays, even phone safety. Most also will go over a few alternative transportation options and begin to warm them up to the idea that they need to drive responsibly or not at all. I've included some information in my description below for some of these resources. Eventually, you may find that your parents' driving capabilities have declined enough that even though they are still capable of short trips, driving long routes or across multi-lane roads is a bit too challenging for them. So you may want to start thinking about setting some driving limits. Item number 4 on our list, supplementing transportation, is about setting limits and filling gaps. At some point, you will probably find that your parent is going to need to have a safe radius, as well as designated safe routes and destinations. Now, they may decide this for themselves, and you may not need to interfere with this process at all. Hopefully, for you, this is the case, but for many, it is not. Then you'll have to sit down with your parent to figure out where it is they need to go regularly and about how often. You may find that they can easily drive to places that they have been to repeatedly over the years, as long as the route doesn't change. Places like the local grocery store, the beauty salon, or to nearby restaurants, or even a few close-by friends are an example of places that they may still be able to drive to without too much risk. At the same time, you may find that trips to places like doctor's offices, hospitals, or maybe even to a church or synagogue, if they are religious, are too far away. Pass through highways or cross railroad tracks that aren't gate protected. In that case, alternative transportation may be needed. If you are at this point in your aging parent's life, then you are beginning to transition into more of a caregiver role. Caregiving is a broad description of someone who provides care for a loved one. It does not necessarily mean that they rely on you completely and you are their sole provider. Typically, this role starts off a little at a time and grows as needs arise. You may or may not be in a place where you can help yet. You may work a full-time job or still have kids at home and may be limited to what you can really do. You have to decide for yourself what you can do and what you're willing to do. But if you can, and if you're willing, then a simple solution is for you to step in and provide transportation whenever it is needed. This does mean that you will want to have a voice in setting appointment times and schedule outings so that your schedule will not be adversely affected. If you can't provide transportation, or if you can't do it every time, see if you can find another family member or one of your parents' friends that can help out. This is actually a good plan even if you can transport, just in case something comes up with you. If your parent does attend religious ceremonies, many will provide transportation for their senior members. In addition, many cities provide shuttle services for seniors, and a few areas even have volunteers that will help drive. If resources are available, many in-home care providers will provide transportation for an hourly fee. But what do you do when driving skills have degraded to the point that any driving at all is just no longer a safe option? The last item on our list, getting the keys, goes over just that subject. By this point, you may not have to say a thing. Your parent may be well aware of the situation and may decide for themselves that it's time to stop driving. However, not all do. If you are going to have to sit down and talk with your parent, especially if you know that they are not going to take the outcome very well, there are some things that you are going to want to do first. Elicit help. Try not to be the only voice. Incorporate the help of your loved ones and ask one or two others are present. This will help your parent understand that it is not one single opinion, but a collective opinion of loved ones. Try to incorporate the help of spiritual advisors or religious figures. Many seniors that have religious ties give a lot of weight to the opinions and advice given to them by respected clergy. Speak to the family doctor. Many times physicians, especially if they are familiar with the family, will prescribe the cessation of driving. If you communicate your concerns with the doctor, he may do the hard work for you. If you don't have a doctor or clergy or family members that can help, then it will be up to you to negotiate. Try to be as loving as possible. Remind them of your conversation in item 1. And try to allow them the opportunity to volunteer to give up the keys on their own. Be firm. If driving is not safe for your parent, it is also not safe for others on the road with them. I wish that I could say that this will be an easy conversation. You may be met with anger and hostility, or you may be met with tears and despair. This is a natural passing of the baton. There were probably plenty of times that your parent had to sit you down and tell you no, knowing that it wouldn't be well received. Do the best you can do, and that is all you can do. Well, that does it for this episode of My Aging Parent by Seniority. Remember, everyone's situation is unique, and the things that we discussed may or may not work out for your current circumstances. We encourage you to seek out guidance from professional resources and from those around you that have been in your shoes. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking on the big subscribe button. That will help us to deliver our message to more people. Enjoy the journey, my friend.